My name is Ishmael Tabalno. I'm also known as Pineapple Sam, or just Sam. I'm originally from Kauai. I was born at Wilcox Hospital in Lihui, on the island of Kauai, and raised in a small town on the south side in the town of Koloa. I live in a place that was reserved for plantation families, and the name of the place was called Spanish Camp. I grew up in Spanish Camp and attended school at Koloa Elementary School. While at Koloa, I was able to have so many adventures at the beach, like Brennecke Beach, Mahalapu, Kukui, Kikula, and all of those areas. Kalapaki Beach on Nawiliwili, and that's the Marriott now, but at one time that hotel used to be Kauai Surf, and that is one of my first jobs that I had on the island. I was a busboy there, and I worked there during my school years, and that's where I got acquainted with the tourists and learning more about what was outside of the islands. This is where I did a lot of swimming, surfing, snorkeling, spearfishing, and a lot of our activities after school, because it was close to Kauai High School. We were able to just a few minutes just go down the road and jump in the water and just had a great time swimming there. Because of the proximity of the place, many of our friends would often meet there and meet at the wall there just to sit down and talk story or have our lunch, our bento plate lunch. And sometimes somebody would bring a rod or reel and we'd throw a line in there and try to catch some of the fish there. But oftentimes most people were there surfing or just swimming from the wall across the bay there. During my cross-country training in track at Kauai School, one of my exercises was to start from the wall there and jump in the water and swim across there. And that would take us about an hour. And here's the Kauai High School parking lot in the front, and that banyan tree there, as you see here in the back of that truck, is the original tree. It's been there since I was going to school there. And here's the gym, the same gym that we would go to get ready for PE. This is the road from the high school, and this is the road that it's going downhill towards Kalapaki Beach. Oftentimes during the lunch break, we would either ride on bikes down there. When I say bikes, I was one of the few people that had a motorcycle, and the motorcycle was quite loud, so we rolled the motorcycle down this hill, and once we got halfway, then we'd start it. As you can see, it was just a narrow road. Back when I was going to high school, it was much more narrow and not as smooth as it is now. And at the bottom, there's right now that's the Anchor Cove mini shopping center. At one time, there wasn't any shopping center there. And here's a glimpse of the tunnel of trees heading towards the town of Koloa. It's approximately approximately 1 mile long, and there's about 400 to 500 eucalyptus trees that was planted back in the 1800s, and it formed this tunnel, and now it's known as the tunnel of trees. There's many mystery stories about this place, some ghost stories, if you will. And after these tunnel trees, there's the winding curve road that heads down to Koloa. There are many. Here's the beginning of the town of Koloa. The town is one of the oldest sugarcane plantation towns on Kauai. As a kid, I remember walking down this road, going towards the main part of town, and as soon as you come to this T in Koloa, you see the Sioka store. Sioka store was one of the plantation stores. And here's a photo of the oldest sugarcane plantation in Hawaii. It was established in 1835. This is one of the smokestacks that was there. As a kid, I used to climb there and imagine that was my castle. I used to just climb up, scamper up there, go up to the steps and go on the top there and just sit there and just look around. And here's the tree, a banyan tree, much bigger than it was. But we call this the haunted banyan tree because of some of the tragedies that occurred there. People committing suicide and unexplained deaths around that area there. If you take a close look, and you'll see on this particular picture, you can see some faces there right on the top corner, top left-hand corner there. Koloa Church, right next to the elementary school that I attended. This is one of the oldest church that they have in Koloa. And this church is where I first learned the martial art of Kachikembo. And this is Koloa Landing down in Brennecke Beach area. This is before the hotels were built here. This is where my family and I would frequent for a weekend outing. We'd fish there and we'd just have a good time with friends and family. In the old days, of course it's Koloa Landing. In the old days, the ships would come in here to resupply fresh water. This is Brennecke Beach, one of my favorite beaches down on the south side. Brennecke Beach has become very popular for the tourists because it has areas for the children as well as for the adult that wanted to do some snorkeling or surf in the area. It's a place that they have lifeguards there, so it's quite safe as long as you stay within the boundaries they have marked there. Quite often you will also see monk seals coming in for their daybreak, just sunbathing there. Each year more and more people are visiting these areas, and because of the popularity and because of the nice beach and comfortable settings. Here's a picture of a monk seal reserving his spot on Kauai at Brennecke Beach. This is one of the favorite spots, not only for people but for a monk seal that come in there, spends most of the day just laying there, and then until evening they would slowly slip back into the water. The water is clean, it's warm, and is very accessible for children and for snorkelers as well. Now this is the beach, Brennecke Beach, which is a few hundred yards north of Brennecke Beach. This is where it's a favorite spot for bodyboarding and body surfing. They have waves come here continuously, and it's a great place to body surf. Now here's a picture, a place I and my family and my friends during high school time would come out here. This is called Shipwreck. And that cliff on the left side is one of our favorite spots where we would jump in, and it's about a 20-30 foot drop there, and you jump in, and then right below that cliff is some caves there, and we would go under the cave. We would wait till a wave come in, and would push us, help us go in the caves, and the cave walls were just crawling with lobsters, and we could easily choose the lobsters we wanted, and then bring it up there, take it back to the beach, and just have a barbecue with lobsters and some of the fish. And sometimes somebody would bring steak, so we'd have lobsters, fish, and steak. Now they call it Shipwreck because there was a shipwreck there once. It's already gone. They cleared it up. It's now the frontage of the Grand Hyatt. It's also now a favorite spot for body surfing and boogie board. It's not one of the spots that is ideal or good for smaller children because of the heavy pounding of the surf there right at the shore. They don't have any lifeguards posted there, so oftentimes people would watch out for each other. This is also one of the favorite spots for weddings, right next as the cliff as a background. As you can see, those waves are quite strong. Imagine a gallon of water weighs approximately 5 pounds. Now when you get hundreds of gallons of water in a wave coming down upon you, you can really feel the impact once the wave slams you down in a shallow water on the shore. We used to call it getting into the washing machine because it would just toss you over and just you'd be gasping for air, trying to find a bottom so that you can use the bottom to push you back up so you can get some air and breathe. I look back at some of those photos and those shoots, and I remember my time when I was young in high school and my early 20s was able to do that. But those people, imagine holding your breath for more than a minute. The average person has to hold his breath for more than a minute. And here's the spot that tourists frequent to try their courage and jump off that cliff there. When the tide's high, it's okay. The water's deep enough, right? But when low tide and the water recedes down, the water level can go down as much as 5, 6, 7 feet. So you want to time it so that the wave comes in, then you can jump in there. The water's not that deep there on a low tide. And you can tell if it's low tide because there's hardly any waves beneath that cliff there. I want to mention also, when I was growing up, all along those cliffs were seagulls, and the seagulls would have their nest there. And they're not as plentiful as they were before, but we used to harvest some of the eggs there and add it to our barbecue. Here's a gentleman that's getting ready to jump there. It looks like it's not that high, but once you're up there on the perch there and looking down, you just, I guess some people just take time to say something, maybe a prayer or something, because it is quite spooky looking down there. And you get people in the back of you saying, hey, go ahead, jump, and you just kind of like, okay, I will, just let me think about it for a while. I think everybody goes through that before you make the jump. And once you make the jump, hopefully you'll be able to swim back to shore there, because there's a current that pulls you to the right out towards the open ocean. You can catch the wave coming in and then make a left, go to the sandy beach, or you get caught in that wave there, as you can see, and thrown on the rocks there. So you must be able to jump, swim out, and to the right, and then come back to the sandy beach. I haven't seen anybody just walk up there and just make the jump or dive off yet. I've seen people take as long as 10 minutes before you jump out there. It's just, that's how, I guess, there it goes. There. Now his task now is to swim out and not get pushed on the rocks there. Unless you're a confident swimmer, I wouldn't suggest jumping out there. And again, a good gauge to see if it's going to be rough is look at down at the bottom, the base of the cliff there, and see if there's big waves. If there's hardly any waves, it's low tide. Just be careful that you time the rising and lowering of the water level. See, I mentioned swimming out to the right, coming back to the sandy area. The wave is constantly pushing you towards the rocks there, towards the cliffs, so you have to battle the current and swim to the right. Growing up here and swimming there a lot, we get to learn the tides, the current, and just the general characteristics of the area. Shipwreck is becoming one of the favorite spots for local, well, it has been a favorite spot for locals and for tourists now. The more you hear about it, the more crowded the place becomes. As you can see, the lighter spots there is sand on the bottom. The rest is just rocks or coral under there. He's doing okay as long as there's a wave. No big wave comes in right now. He's doing okay. Make it back to the sandy shore. A few times while swimming and spearfishing back there, we've seen stingrays, dolphins, and sharks swimming in that area as well. This is a shot of the Koloa plantation. It is no longer in operation, but is one of the busy plantations. In front of that is a picture of a wild boar. It was being raised by some of the local people there. This is a road that's one of the original roads that was in front of Spanish camp. Spanish camp is no longer there.
Pineapple Sam is the character that embodies the life and stories of Ismael Tabarno, who grew up on the shores of the Hawaiian Islands and later ventured outward in the world to embark on many fascinating adventures. Pineapple Sam loved to talk story, as they say on the islands, and decided to write his stories as a hobby when he retired.